Well, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about pajamas today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. I have not talked about pajamas in a few days, probably a few days or so, maybe a little bit more than a few days, just because it's been boring, right? I mean, literally since 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days now, we've been in the same little area here. Really, over the past couple weeks, we've been in the same area. We had a momentary high here. If we're looking at our relative high, discernible high there to this discernible low, stopped at the 0.5 area, and now we're back below the 236. Generally speaking, this is not a good looking fib, and I would expect that you see lower prices than this low. That's what that fib would mean. I'm not expecting that you do, but it is something to be considered, right? That we could see lower prices than this. If this fib were to be respected, we would see prices down at 0.00325 to 0.0024. Now, I'm just saying this to make people aware. I'm not saying this is scary. I'm not saying this as an expectation. I'm just saying that this is a possibility that's at play. I'm not selling any of my pajamas. I'm a top 100 wallet holder myself. I'm not buying any pajamas. I'm just sitting on my hands and waiting. I do believe that we are going to get a pump very soon. But in that time, you can see a little bit of volatility. It can happen. And when I say a little bit of volatility, it's a lot with coins like this, right? So it can happen. So far, all we've got is a low, a higher low, and as of now, kind of another higher low, right? We had a high here and a higher high, but we got our lower high here. So what the goal is, what we need to do is essentially we need to take this high out before we take this low out. If we take this low out before we take that high out, we are in a momentary downtrend. And if we're in a momentary downtrend, we likely will see those targets that I was talking about between 0.003252 to 0.002418. We will likely see those targets if we take this low out before we take this high out. If we can take the high out before we take the low out, well, that is the low. We're moving higher, and not only are we moving higher than this high, but we're likely going to move higher than this high. Inevitably, we're going to move higher than that high, but taking this out would mean more so immediately. Let's look at the RSI and just see if we can determine anything looking at this. So looking at the daily RSI here, you did reject your overbought area a little bit. You're coming back down. The last time that you rejected your overbought area like this, you actually found support right down here. You're kind of right above that area now. You're in this zone where you found support before. Maybe pajamas goes a little bit lower, but I do expect or suspect that you will pump soon, right? So if anybody's looking to buy pajamas, my genuine opinion would be it's probably a fine price to buy now. Yes, it could go lower, and I'm not saying that it could go lower as in wait till it goes lower to buy. I'm saying that just in case. It's not an expectation. It's a just in case expectation, right? It's a if you buy here and you see it go down here, you're not going to be like, oh no, it's broken, I made a mistake, I'm going to panic sell. It's okay, I bought here full-heartedly knowing it could drop down here. I didn't get down here, whatever, but it's still higher lows. It's still fine structure. We're just not moving up right now. We're going to move up a little bit later, right? It's more sensible, that line of thinking, than I'm going to buy here and it's definitely not going to go lower. There's no chance in hell. I don't expect it to go lower, but I'm not going to say there's no chance in hell. It's a low cap meme coin. Anything can happen. But from your relative low to your relative high here, you're at your 618 golden ratio area. Kind of at the area where you found support last time in the daily RSI. You even got an area a potential to set up kind of like a double bottom right here. If you look at the 4-hour RSI has some bullish divergence showing right now. Nice. Definitely a green light for a buy in my opinion, man. Higher lows here. Lower lows in the price. In the golden ratio too, with a somewhat double bottom look. What's your volume like? Pretty sparse. I think this is it, man. I think pajamas is about to rip. Yeah, so I think it's more important actually to talk about upside targets, so we're going to do that from now on. We're going to do that now. And look at that too, man. Maybe you close here for the week, you're at the 50 and you bounce off that. That just looks so good. When pajamas gets its act together, when it's done consolidating in this range that it's been in now for the past month, basically, the next target area that we could expect to see it go to would basically be the 786, 886 area, this area that you wicked into before, right? And it makes sense that that'd be where we go to. That's our next area, and I'll explain that afterwards. But that's between about it's basically just under 2 cents there, 1.95 cents to 2.6 cents, okay? You're at about half a cent now, 0.0056 cents now. So that overall growth, which I would expect to happen by the end of this month of December, would be something of like a 246% growth to a 363% growth, right? Absolutely. I mean, this is a low cap coin, guys. Absolutely, it can go higher than that, and I do expect by the end of January it will be a lot higher. But you never know, man. It doesn't take much time, right? You can see here we were at, I mean, basically similar prices, just a little bit lower here, but we moved up to 520% in a week, basically in these same areas. We could be at new all-time highs any given day now, any given week now. All it takes is some kind of big news drop on X.com from like the Pajamas team or from Steve Chen or something like that, right? And I do think we're going to get stuff like that probably coming. If not, we'll probably just move up on like standard, let's call it, what's the word I'm looking for? Cyclicalness. It's like the time, the seasonality. That's the word, seasonality. We'll probably just move up in the seasonality of things with all of crypto moving up and meme coins doing well. But, oh yeah, what I wanted to say was this before I end the video, was that here, whenever we moved up, we were starting to move up, we had this really big wick, right? Really big wick on a day right here. We moved all the way up, then we moved down. Then we moved up to it, and where this wick was, it topped off right here, okay? Right here. This is basically, and I'm going to delete all that stuff. Where this wick is. This is basically where we've consolidated since then, right? Since this humongous wick here, we've basically consolidated in this area since then, right? We moved all the way back down, and then we moved up, and we've consolidated in this area since then, right? So then I want to apply that same kind of logic here, is that we wicked up, we moved all the way down, we've been consolidating in this area, the previous big wick area. I think when we move up, we'll probably, like this big wick area, we'll move up just above it, but then consolidate probably around it, right? That'll be our next consolidation phase, which that area is going to be somewhere between the 786 and 886 area, okay? That's my thoughts. The only way that would be wrong is if we go down more immediately, we'll still get there. It'll just be longer. Or if we just shred that zone and we go to new all-time highs immediately. But time will tell. I'm definitely bullish on Pajamas. Haven't forsaken it. I'm just not making videos on it because it's been boring recently. But it's a good buy, guys. I think it's a good buy here, right? You're literally at the tips of these areas of resistance here. You're finding support on previous areas of resistance right now, or previous areas of resistance and previous areas of support. So, and you're at your relative golden ratio from this low to high. So I'm going to end the video there. I got nothing else to say. If you guys like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more content like this. Go Pajamas, go. Green light for me. I don't expect it to see a lower low, but if it does, I think it's going to be fine. I don't expect it to see a overall like macro lower low, but potentially a lower low than this. It could happen. What I'm really expecting is that this is probably the low point of this low. It's a higher low here, and we're going out to take out this high. Once we take out that high, that certifies, that verifies, it validates that we're going to move above this high. All right, take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.